Fam, what's up? Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. Call line is open. 205-850-1994. Listen, Jalen Milroe has let the naysayers know. I don't care about, the haters out there that were on this young man. And if you're still doubting Jalen Milroe, call in and tell us why. I want to hear from you. I want to get those calls and get your take on Jalen Milroe and what he can't do. Because every single week he continues to prove everybody wrong. Plain and simple, Jalen Milroe is the most dangerous player in college football, okay? Look, what he did against LSU, I think set the tone for the rest of college football. And everybody now knows that if Jalen Milroe uses his legs like we all knew he could coming into the season, that Alabama is not going to lose another game, period. They're not going to. I think it's been by design, to be honest. Let me walk you through the stats about Jalen Milroe real quick, and then I'll tell you kind of my take on this, because I feel that Jalen Milroe, this was all kind of by design, and it was Saban's plan, to be honest. So let's look at the numbers real quick, and then I'm going to tell you what I was thinking about yesterday, because, Jalen Milroe could have basically taken over from the get-go, but I think Coach Saban wanted a complete team, a complete offense. So let's look at the stats real quick for Jalen Milroe through this season, and here are his totals thus far, okay? So let me zoom this in, make this full screen. On the season, 114 for 176 passing. He has 5 interceptions. He has 13 touchdowns. Percentage 64.8, 1,800 yards passing the football. As you can see in this last game against LSU, was 15 of 23. Against Tennessee, he was 14 of 21. Before that, 10 of 21 against Arkansas. Okay. When you look at the statistics, you're like, okay, well, what are we really, what is he really bringing to the table in terms of, those aren't some overall outstanding numbers. However, the thing that's so dangerous about him is his combined improvement passing the football and his ability to run. I just saw a statistic that Jalen Milroe was clocked at 20 miles per hour against LSU. So what I was thinking about is I think this has all been by design, to be honest. And I think one of the things about Jalen Milroe is Coach Saban knew that he could clearly do this. But now that he's let Jalen Milroe take over a game, and I think that he's developed more identity with Tommy Rees, there's not going to be a team in college football that is able to deal with Jalen Milroe and what he presents this season. For the rest of the season, I think, honestly, that he's too dangerous. I think he's too electric. I think that he has momentum. And with this improved offensive line, I don't think there's going to be another team in college football that touches Alabama. Honestly, I really don't. I was thinking about it last night. I mean, Alabama, if you want to get some money right now, I think Alabama's sitting at plus 800 to win the college football national title. If they get into the playoffs, this team, nobody wants to face this team. And I get it. There's Bama fatigue and all that stuff. Outside of this, you don't want to face Jalen Milroe. You don't. Look at what he did against LSU. I get it. People, were missing from LSU's team or whatever. He has the ability to take over a game. He has the ability to change the momentum of the game. Jalen Milroe is that guy. I think Urban Meyer said yesterday that he's, Percy Harvin and Reggie Bush combined into one. I guess that's an okay analogy. I think he's something completely different. I mean, this guy is 6'2", 230 pounds. He's always believed in himself. This team has believed in him. He is the guy that can certainly take Alabama to where they want to go. There's a lot of people that didn't think he could do that at the beginning of the season. He has proved all those people wrong, and he continues to get better and better every single week. His deep ball's been there. His intermediate passing is improving, but honestly, it's just the playmaking ability. I'll say this right now. I don't think that Alabama is going to lose another game this season. If they get into the college football playoffs, they are going to win the national title. There's a lot of people. I put up a YouTube video, a couple weeks ago before the Tennessee game, when people thought that Tennessee was going to come in here and take what Alabama's. And I was like, listen, just wait. They believe in this team. They have a mindset. They have an understanding of what's going to go through these next couple of games. And that has been it. This team is transformed. That's why I think when you look at the college football playoff rankings and kind of where things sit, the teams as of today, Bama's a 1,000,000% a top 4 team. They're playing like a top 4 team. And I think going into this game against Kentucky, it's going to provide them another opportunity to put 4 quarters of play together and show the naysayers once again that this is a complete team. This is a team that has an electric defense, and the offense, we just don't want to deal with them because of Jalen Milroe, plain and simple. Now, there's other components on that offense that have done a great job. Jaden Roberts has been a guy who has really emerged. We did a video yesterday on him. Caden Proctor, he's done a great job. Coach Saban said that the offensive line continues to improve. What about, those bad snaps that we saw? They've improved. Caden Proctor, he's improved, right? J.C. Latham, he's been steady. The wide receivers have been doing their thing. Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, we've been seeing more of him. Jace has done a good job. Roydell's done a good job. Those are power runners north and south. Jam Miller, we've seen an emergence of him. So I think when you look to this team overall, this is a complete team. You want to talk special teams? Yeah. Will Riker missed 2 field goals against LSU, but everybody knows that he is Superman. You're telling me that you don't have confidence anymore in Will Riker? That's wrong. James Burnup, he's almost averaging 50 yards per punt. You talk about flipping the field and having confidence in your defense to play a field position game. Alabama can do that too. So when I look to the landscape of college football, there's a lot of parity this year. Alabama is peaking at the right time. There's some games this weekend going on that should pretty much favor the top 8 once again. I think the one that we're kind of keeping an eye on is Michigan going to Penn State, and that's going to be a highly contested game. Michigan is favored by just 4 in that game, and all eyes kind of on the Wolverines as that is their first game that they're really playing in this coming season. That is a big boy type game. I think that Alabama's schedule of strength speaks volumes. Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, Texas, on the road against Texas A&M. Those were difficult games. Good thing for Alabama is that most of the difficult games were at home at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium. But other than that, this team has shown that they can win on the road. And if they can put together another 4 quarters of play, it's going to do a great deal of I think what I'm saying is the seating committee will have an opportunity to see this team. And let me pull up this graphic real quick because this is an interesting point going into this weekend. So that's kind of my opening monologue on Jalen Milroe. But okay, so I'm later today, and stay tuned because I've been working on this video all this morning. It's about the seating committee and who the guys are, and there's a lady on the committee as well by the name of Kelly Whiteside. She spent 14 years, as a national college football writer in the USA Today. But I'm basically going to break down the entire roster and explain where these people are from the seating committee. And the reason I do bring that up is because Mitch Barnhart, you'll see him labeled here with the asterisk. He is the athletic director of Kentucky. Right, there's only one committee member within the 12 people, whatever, that are from the SEC, and Mitch Barnhart represents the SEC. The Big 12 has 2, really 3 reps. The ACC has 2 reps, including the chair, who is Bo Corrigan. But other than that, the SEC has 1 rep. And that is Mitch Barnhart. Now, Mitch Barnhart has already seen Georgia play this year, and he'll get a front row seat to see the Alabama Crimson Tide peaking at the right time. That's why it's so important for Alabama to put together another 4 quarters of play. Mitch Barnhart is going to be able to go back to that committee and say, look, I saw this rising Alabama team firsthand. I didn't see them on TV. I saw them come through, and I saw them come through Lexington. So a lot is riding on this game. This is a bigger game than you think because of that fact. Honestly, Mitch Barnhart is taking notes 1,000,000% going back to the committee and giving feedback on the Alabama Crimson Tide. How did Jalen Milroe play? Is this a complete team from the ground game, the offensive line? Have they really improved? What did you see from the defense? Because now he can compare a Georgia team to an Alabama team, right? You start to look at some of these other components in the seating committee and who those guys have matched up with and who they've seen. It still is a stinky process. I don't like it one bit. The committee, there's some people on there. I just don't really understand it at all. Why are these people on it? Look, and the thing about it, I will say this, the committee members for the most part have really good resumes in terms of like who these people are and what they have accomplished. They have master's degrees. Some have a doctorate degree. These are really smart people, but like, how are they connected to college football? I'm going to bring that up and kind of poke at it a little bit and run through the roster. For example, like, let me bring you up Rod West. Okay, this guy, who knows? Maybe this guy could be a high level politician or something like that. But he's the group president for a utility company, and he's like he's the operational and finance performer of Entergy's 5 operating companies. That's a guy who is deciding the fate of the college football teams. He doesn't have an alliance to any of the teams, but he's on there. Okay. How about Jim Grobe? He's the former coach at Wake Forest and at Baylor, and he's affiliated with the ACC. Like what? Chent Gladchuk, he's the athletic director at Navy. He's on as well. Like what? I just don't understand kind of the correlation. Will Shields, I'm sure he's a great player, or was a great player for Nebraska. He's affiliated with the Big Ten. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2015. But what are these people? How are these people deciding the college football playoff rankings? And really, Alabama and Michigan and Ohio State, all these people together. These are the people who are designing who gets into the playoffs. How about this one? Okay, and my whole video is going to be later on, but I just have to tell you, because I was digging into the numbers all this morning. Joe Taylor, okay? Look, this guy's resume is amazing, honestly. He's the former Virginia Union head football coach, okay? The former Virginia Union what? Okay, he's which is a HBCU school in Richmond, Virginia. Okay. His record as a head coach when he was there is great. 232 and 96. I get it. The overall schematics, this guy can do it. But like he's not even an FBS coach. Why is he in there? Right. And what games is he going to? Okay, so the playoff committee, I could go on and on and on, and I'm going to have a video kind of in length that talks about that, but I wanted to open up talking about Jalen Milroe, and here are the items that I'd like to talk about today. Kentucky up next. Quick hit on the injury report. You have Austin Hanna, who works for Sports Illustrated, Alabama. He said yesterday that Ja'Cory Brooks, Deontay Lawson, and Jalen Key will be out for this weekend's game against Kentucky. He's had a couple scoops this year before, and Coach Saban didn't really provide a positive injury update on those guys. Not a negative one for like they're going to miss the remainder of the season, just this coming weekend. So Ja'Cory Brooks, as you know, he's been a spot player, special teams wide receiver. Deontay Lawson, that's the big one at the inside linebacker. He's a signal caller, but you have Jahad Campbell and Tresman Marshall stepping up, and then Jalen Key looks like he'll be out as well. So that's kind of when you look to the safeties at Alabama, what are they going to do? And I figure that they'll do what they did when Key went out. So you slide in, Christian Story, put Trey or put Terry on at the start. Is that what they did, or did they move Malachi to the safety and put in Terry on at the star, and then they put Trey Amos at corner? I think that's what they did. Anyways, that's kind of the injury report going into this game. Otherwise, Alabama has been really healthy. Keys to the game, get your take on that. In my opinion, the keys to the game are play a complete 4 quarters of football. What does that entail? I think that it entails coming up with a couple big plays in the beginning of the game, establishing a really strong running game. I think the defense has to play heavy. Leary, the quarterback from Kentucky, who missed, I think, the second half against Mississippi State he got something in his eye or something like that. He's going to be 100% healthy for this game. And I think, Alabama, will have to deal with a really good running back from Kentucky as well, who ripped off like a 200-yard performance this year. So Kentucky can run the football. But again, overall, it's been tough for anybody to move the football against Alabama. Talked about Mitch Barnhart. Again, 8 consecutive quarters from Alabama. That's why we want to see that. I want to get your take on why Alabama wins this game. Don't let it be a trap game. Alabama has to 100% put 4 quarters together to be able to beat this Kentucky team. Kentucky, they've in their favorable games this season, they took care of business. But against Missouri, against Georgia, against Tennessee, they got blown out by Georgia. But against Missouri and Tennessee, they played them pretty tight. This is a good coaching staff, and Coach Saban has a lot of respect for these guys. And a road game's difficult. 11 a.m., Justin Abogbe said they got to wake up at 7 a.m. I know, big deal. But it's you're playing on the road. Playing on the road is hard. Reporting on the road is hard. Being on the road is hard. We know that. Alabama's next 3 games, you know what that includes. Kentucky, the next week, Chattanooga, and then Auburn have to play complete in those games. This is an elimination game every single way. Get your take on Bama versus Texas now. Who wins that game? Bama versus top 8. Who you liking over Bama? And then give me your bold prediction. All right, with that, we go to the phone lines. I appreciate you guys waiting. We got Demetrius to lead off the show. Then we got a 586, and it looks like we got Mike from Austin. So all coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Demetrius, let's start the party. Hey, Demetrius, I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing this morning, Kyle?
I'm doing amazing, man. I appreciate you calling in. Welcome to the show, and just a couple days away from Alabama versus Kentucky.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that game last Saturday. I ain't had a chance to call in this week, but excellent. You know, it's every game by game, quarter by quarter, we seem to be getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we taking the steps. I mean, I keep telling people, like I said, I drive all over the country. Y'all, you just don't know how detrimental it is to lose coaching staff over and over. We do it all. Coach Saban got to deal with this all the time, every year. Don't know the school has to go through this. So, Jalen Milroe, the young man, is making significant progress, a lot faster than I thought he was. Maybe it was a plan by Coach Saban. Maybe he did learn from Jalen Hurts to go ahead and let him pass the ball, and then, we can unleash his legs later on. I mean, they had the defense that year to do it. Kevin Steele, hey, what can I say about him? Him and T-Rob, they should win coaches 1A and 1B assistant coaches of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way they got these young men performing out there on the field, making adjustments, and so I hate that, I'll be lost, and that ankle have been giving him problems. He was out earlier this year because of that ankle. Hope the young man gets better. And as far as Kentucky, I watched a couple games. They'll be at the beginning of the year. They are a physical team. I mean, everybody keeps saying the same thing. They're a physical team, but against us, everybody always want to throw a little wrinkle in there to make themselves look good.
Yep.
To try to. They don't do that to nobody else. It's just always they circle Alabama on the list.
And that's kind of that's the dangerous thing about going into the game like this. I think Alabama clearly Vegas feels they're a 10-point favorite, whatever the rat poison is this week. But the thing is, and I brought this up earlier, is Mitch Barnhart. You see him on the screen. He is Kentucky's athletic director. He is going to be laser focused on every single aspect of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And who knows, maybe one of the other committee members is flying out to Lexington to see Alabama at this point in time as well, which I think would be a good idea because you want to have an idea of, can this team continue its consistency in performance? And I think that's going to be Coach Saban's message from the time they get off the tarmac, is the fact that can you play another 4 quarters? Because that's what we need to do to number one, beat Kentucky, but continue to achieve the goals that they want, which is to win the SEC West. You have another important game taking place in Athens, Georgia, between Ole Miss and Georgia. And I heard Lane Kiffin talking yesterday, and he said, the times that I've played on the road against Alabama, I've been uptight. And I think that is transformed to the field. And he says, I don't feel uptight going into this game against Georgia. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, that's a dangerous team, right? I mean, look, Georgia has another opportunity to get a staple win. And I would say this to the committee. If Georgia's able to reel off 2 wins over Missouri and then Ole Miss, I would just be shocked if they are not put back at that number 1 spot. But then again, you look to the committee, and I'm going to be dropping a video later. You have 3 committee members from the Big Ten in that conference, that have seen Ohio State, that are, talking Michigan. You also have, and one of them is Michigan's athletic director. And of course, he can't really, put feedback on the rankings, but it's still dirty that he's even on the board to begin with, considering all the stuff that's happening with Michigan and considering that Michigan is just rolling over an incredible light schedule besides this weekend. What else you got, Demetrius?
As far as that, they talking about who playing. I mean, good gracious, how many bad quarters of Georgia and Ohio State done had this year at the beginning of the year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they progressed a little bit better, but look at the quality of the competition they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop-de-doo. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on now. I mean, it is what it is. us as Alabama fans, we should be accustomed to it. You know, the money thing, as far as the higher ups in the Big Ten, of course they're gonna want to keep Michigan in. They want to go somebody in there so they can make more money. But I I hope the young men put all that aside and just get out here and do what they're supposed to do, and it's gonna work itself out. I mean, cause you always gonna get that bias anyway. Don't nobody like. I mean, they've been saying soon as Jim Harbaugh came in the league, Coach Saban cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, who done got caught cheating?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, but I'm a leave it. I'm getting ready to say this and leave it, land my plane. I am ecstatic of how well the discipline is coming back to Alabama football, the standard, especially on the defensive side. I mean, because, Kyle, these last about 5 years, it's been like, what? Used to be Reuben Foster them, and Jonathan Allen. I mean, throughout the years, you weren't going to beat them on the same play.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'll get beat by the same play 3 times in a row, and defensive coordinators just sitting around there looking like, what am I supposed to do? Which way did I go, George? Which way did I go? I mean, come on. Now, don't do that to us. I mean, not only do the players have a standard, the coaches need to have a standard too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, but that's Coach Saban's job to pick out the coaches. I mean, maybe that was the best he had available to pick from, considering we get poached every year. And so, Roll Tide, and I hope these young men go out. They just need to handle their business from here on out the rest of the season. I'm gonna say this, and I promise you, I'm leaving. And both sides of the ball operating at 50% right now. Each game they're getting better and better. That's how much more room they got to improve. I mean, so Roll Tide, and y'all have a good rest of y'all morning.
All right, man. Take it easy, Demetrius. I appreciate you calling in. Fam, you can we just dropped some new apparel, which you can check out. It's this Lank hoodie. I just ordered mine. We're going to put the link inside the comment box, but there's a couple different Lank hoodies that you can get. What does Lank mean? Let a naysayer know. So that's that's been the team motto this year. So there's a couple different options that you can choose from, but that's what it means. Let a naysayer know. And that is now available. We appreciate you guys being here this morning. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. You can become a fan funder of this YouTube channel by hitting the join button up top by where it says subscribe. You can just hit join. And if you're on your phone, you can just scroll up on our YouTube channel and there's a hyperlink and you can click join. It's basically fan funding for this YouTube channel. I appreciate it. This is my full-time job. You guys have yours. This is mine. So thank you very much for supporting me on the YouTube channel. Here's a look at, we'll get to our next callers in just a second. 586, Mike and Austin, and the 334 coming up next. Here's a look at kind of the overview for this coming weekend. You got number one. Someone asked me to put them in order inside the comment box. I read the comments. I promise you. There's hundreds of comments. I try to like as many as I can, and then I provide feedback as well. But someone was like, can you put this playoff graphic with the teams in order? And I was like, that's a good idea. And we've taken Oklahoma off the board. Okay, so Ohio State up at the top left. They are a 31.5-point favorite over Michigan State. Number 2, Georgia, 10.5-point favorite over Ole Miss. Number 3, Michigan, 4-point favorite over Penn State. Kind of that's the game that everybody's watching, right? Florida State is a 14-point favorite over Miami. Washington is a 9-point favorite over Utah. Oregon is a 15-point favorite over USC. I'm liking that one too. I mean, if any, that offense, right? You just got to think that maybe something goes sideways in that game. And then Texas, I don't think they've ever lost to TCU. I might be wrong on that, but they are a 10-point favorite going to Fort Worth. Have you ever been to TCU in that surrounding area? It's amazing. It is so beautiful. Such an amazing area around that campus. And then number 8, Alabama taking on Kentucky in Lexington, where they are an 11-point favorite as well. So that's kind of the playoff outlook, and some really good games taking place across the landscape of college football. My name is Kyle Henderson. I appreciate you guys being here. This is the morning call-in show all this week at 9 a.m. in the morning. checking out the 9 a.m. slot, just seeing how it works. Today's schedule includes this show, and then later on today I have a video explaining the resume of the committee members and how it all works. It's really interesting to check out, and you're going to be, after the video, you're going to be even more pissed off, honestly, and you're going to just be like, thank goodness that we're moving to a different format in terms of the playoffs, because trying to fit these 4 teams based off, the representatives that we have is just, it doesn't make sense. It's dirty. I don't like it. Josh, so you know what I'm saying, man, the Dallas Fort Worth, I see you in the comment box, man, that is such a beautiful area underneath it. So, okay, we go back to the phone lines and we got a 586. Let's do it. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Good morning, Kyle. It's Marcel from Detroit.
What's up, Marcel? I appreciate you calling in, man. Good morning.
Good morning to you, man. You know, it pisses me off, when I look at, the schedules. Like, you give us Michigan, schedule, we smoke them. You give us Ohio State, we smoke it. You give us Texas, we smoke it. So it's just it's just pissing me off just to look at their schedule. So I don't know how you look at it, but as a fan, I'm mad because that LSU win, I thought that was a big win. Like, we came into it, they had the number 1 offense, in the whole entire nation. I thought the committee would at least look at that and look like, hey, these guys are, are legit. But I didn't think I thought we would move up 1 spot at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess since Texas is, above us, so, they won against us. But I just don't understand it. What's your thoughts on it? And FSU too. Their schedule is just crazy.
Look, the thing, and I'll highlight this in the video that I'm dropping later today, is Boo Corrigan, who is the chair of this committee, said, and who, by the way, is the athletic director at NC State. Where's NC State at? Well, they're in the ACC. In NC State, they beat Clemson. They've played Duke. And, they're in the same conference as Florida State. So he loves Florida State, said it's a complete team, said that the wins against Clemson, which was in overtime, said that the wins against Duke, said that they have a good win against LSU. And that they played in this last game, and they still looked good without 2 of their wide receivers. So this committee, they do like the ACC. Florida State is going to 1,000,000% win out. Look at this. I was hopeful. You look at their schedule, they have Miami, Northern Alabama, Florida. I mean, they're going to run through that easy. I mean, they're going to beat up on Miami 1,000,000%, and then Northern Alabama, Florida, and then Louisville in the ACC championship. So, I mean, considering the committee has the main rep is from the ACC, Bo Corrigan, and then Florida State's rolling, I mean, they're in. So, I mean, and this is the most concerning thing that he said in the last teleconference was the fact that this is Boo Corrigan, who's the chair at NC State. He said that the fact is that Florida State is scoring 40 points a game and allowing 17. It was like, well, of course, look at their schedule, right? So if they're adding that into the equation, it's just like, my goodness. So really, Alabama wouldn't be this Alabama team, in my opinion, if they didn't lose early in the season to Texas, right? It's helped them get to where they are now. Now, with that said, it also penalized them because, it helps to play Michigan's schedule. It helps to play Florida State's schedule. It helps to play Oregon's schedule, and it helps to play Washington's schedule. Facts. 100%. Those teams did not play a difficult schedule, and they're being rewarded for it. Georgia's front-end schedule, are you kidding me? Ohio State's schedule, it was. I mean, that they have good wins. Notre Dame and Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Early on in the season, but Michigan doesn't. Oregon doesn't. Washington, there was a head-to-head game. So I mean,
I just think it's just crazy, man. Like how the committee is just judging it. I know they look at 2 things. I know because I saw something the other day. They said they look at eye test, and they said they look at strength of schedule. I mean, some of these games, I don't know how they judge them. I'm like, what is going through the process of how they rank? I really want to know, but maybe that's not up for me to decide. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just schedule strength doesn't seem to matter. It seems like head-to-head wins and style points are what they're working with. So, Alabama has a head-to-head loss against Texas. They do have a really good schedule of strength. In fact, Coach Saban hasn't even been asked about that. But look, I mean, D just put it up. Michigan schedule of strength 110. They love it. And guess who's on the board? Yeah, their AD. Oh, he can't rank Michigan? You don't think he's going to put feedback? So he can't talk about Michigan at all. Can you talk about Ohio State? You think he's saying positive things about Ohio State? No. Dude, it stinks. What else you got, man? Anything else before I move to our next caller?
I know you wanted to talk about Jalen Milroe, man. I'm super, as a fan, I'm super proud of how far he's come. Everybody I don't know, not everybody, but just about most people, they kind of doubted the kid. They said he couldn't really do it. They didn't think he was the guy for the job, and just to see him come how far. He got. I don't know if you can say he got benched, but I guess they just wanted to test out the other quarterbacks in the UCF game. He didn't play that full game. It just shows his character. Every time a quarterback, when Ty Simpson, I think ran in a touchdown, celebrated, kept motivating the team, and after that game, he went and got a big win against Ole Miss. That shows what type of character this guy has. He's gonna keep improving. I think we will get a really big win against Kentucky. And I think Jalen Milroe will lead this team to a national championship. That's the hope. That's what I believe. But if we can get the committee, if we can convince them, hey, if we do win out, which I think we will, we win the SEC against Georgia, I think it would be hard for the committee not to say, hey, we got to put this team in there. So I don't know. That's just my hopes of it. But
I think when you look at it, I've said this. This is kind of my thought process. If Michigan wins out and Alabama beats Michigan or beats Georgia in the SEC championship, it's going to be hard to leave Alabama out. But if Texas wins out, if Florida State wins out, if Washington wins out, and then Michigan or Ohio State wins out, all those those teams are undefeated, and then Texas has the head-to-head win over Alabama. So I just think that you got to hope for Georgia to be undefeated by that game. And the thing that scares me is the fact that Georgia is not ranked number 1 right now. Why?
Yeah.
Their schedule was crap. Ohio State does have some good wins, but they were also trailing Rutgers at halftime. This is a wide open field. This would be a great 18 playoff right now. Great 18 playoff. But when's the last time Georgia? When's the last time Georgia lost? They won two in a row. Still king of the mountain, or did I guess Ohio State overtook them somehow?
This is one thing I would say before you go to your next caller. If Michigan loses, do you think they still rank them in the top 4? I'm just curious against Ohio State the last week.
You know what?
That would be crazy if I will go insane.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, who's going to move up if they lose is Notre Dame. Notre Dame. The more losses that Notre Dame gets, the better they get ranked. It's crazy. This committee they love Notre Dame. They love them. Notre Dame has lost 3 times this year. 3 times. And they're still in the top. They're 1 spot after LSU. And guess what? Their staple win was USC, right? And everyone's like, they're back. Notre Dame is finally back. No, they're not. They're a good team. They were never back. They're not an elite team. And you'll see. You guys will see with the Pac-12 teams. You guys will see. They're this year's TCU teams with a better quarterback on Washington squad. That's it. Remember the quarterback everyone was going crazy about with TCU? It's the same thing. They don't play the I've seen this before. I used to cover Colorado. I lived out there. I've seen Washington play Alabama. I'm telling you. Bo Nix is doing a great job. Those are good teams. Playoff type teams? No. Big Ten, Ohio State, they're good. Michigan, we'll see. Georgia's good. Florida State, we'll see. I don't think that a lot of these teams could have gone through the gauntlet that Alabama just went through and came out 4-0. Right? I mean, there's a difference between.
I mean, we all know that.
There's a difference between playing Cal, the Cal Bears, and LSU or Tennessee. There's a difference. So, anyways, I got to move to the next caller, man. But I appreciate you calling in.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, man. See ya. All right, we got Mike in Kentucky. Mike in Austin. We also have a Mike in Kentucky. By the way, where you been at, Mike in Kentucky? Call in. Miss you, man. Quincy, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. This too shall sort itself out. Remember, Baylor and Stanford helped us 10 years ago. Look, it will work out, and I think some of these teams will lose on the board eventually down the stretch. I don't know when, I don't know how. The more I look at it, it's like the ball is bouncing these teams' ways. They're getting, it just is. I mean, look, that loss in week 2 hurt Bama. Look where it put them, number 8. So, I mean, they're looking at every single aspect of it there, but they're really weighing that head to head. You see Washington's over Oregon. You see Texas over Bama. Those are the head to heads. Those carry weight. That's why when you look at that Texas schedule, you're like, okay, they got 2 on the road against TCU. They're going to beat TCU. Iowa State, they'll beat them. Sometimes going to Ames can be tricky. Texas Tech, that's a wild card shootout. You know, it could be like 85 to 75. So I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. What's up, Tanks? I see you inside the comment box. Let's do it. Mike in Austin. Mike, what's up, man? I appreciate you joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Kyle. Thanks for having me. Hey, I just like to say that if Alabama played Oregon, Alabama would show up and play some joyless murder ball, and they would crush Oregon. Mm-hmm. That's what I would think. I don't think Oregon would be able to handle the physicality of what Alabama can bring, nor Georgia. So the committee, honestly, with Oregon's strength of schedule, which is like number 70 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Alabama and Texas both in the top 10 strength of schedule. Having Oregon ranked above both Alabama and Texas, that's a travesty of college football, in my opinion. I lose all faith in the committee. And so, but from this point, kind of like I was mentioning, you know, some teams got to fall out. And they probably will. Some teams in the top 4, top 5 got to start falling out. And they probably will. So, but it just scares me the love that they have for Oregon for no reason. Yeah. Doing what? Beating Colorado. You know, they turned out to be just mediocre bad. Yeah. And then, other than that, why did they beat Washington? Well, Washington has no defense either. Yep. But yeah, so I'm really losing. I think the committee gets together, has too many martinis, and slap each other on the butt and tell each other how smart they are, and they don't know what they're doing. That's just my opinion. But hey, as far as Jalen Milroe goes, right, there's no doubt Jalen Milroe has become an excellent quarterback. I think he's in the top 10 now in QBR in college overall NCAA. He's one of the better quarterbacks. But just real quick, I just like to remind folks of how we got here, how Bama got to where they are. You know, because last year when Jalen Milroe filled in for Bryce Young, he kind of had a rap of being, a good runner. Somebody's going to be able to run the ball, good scramble a bit, but his throwing ability was very, very suspect. And he threw interceptions at the wrong time. I think he had like 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns as stats last year, something like that. So the rap against him going into the year, coming into this year, was that the same thing. Mediocre thrower, a good ability with the running with his legs and such, and then what happened? Keep in mind that the going into the year, remember Alabama brought in Tyler Butcher. Why they did that? Did they do that because they didn't have any confidence in Jalen Milroe? Well, maybe because of the connection that Butcher had at Notre Dame with Tommy Rees. Well, maybe. And people thought Ty Simpson, who I think is an okay quarterback, I don't know, he really hasn't played enough. People thought that he might be the quarterback because of his his pedigree and in football. His dad was a coach and all that, and they thought he might see Tyler. But going to the Texas game, keep in mind what happened. Bama was leading in the Texas game. Bama was leading in the fourth quarter. Bama went into the fourth quarter winning that game, with a chance to win that game. And Jalen Milroe was driving down the field, threw an interception on the 10 or 5 yard line. It reinforced what the coaching staff, and what fans thought about him was the guy is too interception prone. He's too interception prone. Mm-hmm. Texas got that interception, went downfield, scored, and ended up winning the game. Mm-hmm. So that Texas game made Jalen Milroe look real bad, because once again, an untimely interception. Overall, the stats I don't think were that bad, and fumbles. So they benched him the following game. And honestly, Kyle, I'm going to have to fess up, and I would say when that Texas game played out, I was texting my bros, texting my friends saying, we got to bench Jalen Milroe. We got to bench Jalen Milroe. I will confess to that, man. When that Texas game, the way that played out at the end, I was so mad, so frustrated. As with all the Bama fans, I was ready to bench Jalen Milroe. So going in, and I said, we got to see what else we got on the roster. We got to give these other two dudes a chance. And lo and behold, that's exactly what the coaching staff did. They gave Tyler Simpson a chance, and they gave Buchner a chance. They failed their chances. They did not do what was right for them. They failed in their chances. So it was back to Milroe. So once, and I think Saban said Milroe has, when Saban appointed him the starting quarterback after the South Florida game, remember, Saban said, this is our starting quarterback. He showed all the leadership skills, being a good teammate. Remember, he said that when Tyler Buchner and then Simpson come off the field, Milroe would be there, high five him, wish him well, although Milroe's on the bench. He said he showed all the leadership skills of being a quarterback, so we got to stick with Milroe. So from that point, this coaching staff, Tommy Rees, the quarterback's coach, whoever, the offense, they put all their faith and hope in Milroe, and once they appointed him starting quarterback, Milroe's confidence got a lot better. He wasn't looking over his shoulder or whatever. His confidence got a lot better. They had a couple of victories underneath their belt. Although they were close victories, they had victories underneath their belt. So, and key to it, Kyle, the offensive line started getting better. That did not help Milroe early on. The offensive line, I think this past week, Caden Proctor, the left tackle, I think, he won an Offensive Player of the Week award.
Yes.
I mean, so, and that was the weakest spot on the team. I mean, so the offensive line is starting to get better at playing together as a unit, which is helping Milroe overall. But from this point where we're at now, I think Milroe has won over the fans. He had to do it the hard way. He had to do it on the field. And he's a good guy. He's a likable guy. He's got a smile on his face. He always says the right. He's a likable guy. That really helps too. But he's won over the fans on the field. He's won these close games. He can throw the ball. Clutch. And that one play in LSU where he was the pocket was closed. This is what showed me that we have a really good quarterback. When the pocket was closing in on him, he didn't have much room to move at all. He just lobbed that ball over to the running back, McClellan, I think it was. McClellan ran for like a 20 or 40-yard gain. That was such a good play right there. Where my heart of hearts as a Bama fan, I'm like, yeah, this dude's going to be able to take us where we want to go, because he's really become a better quarterback, really become a better thrower, and the offensive line's getting better. But like I said, I'll be the first to fess up, man. After that Texas game, I think Bama Nation was so heartbroken. I was like, we got to bench Milroe. We got to see what else we got. But I don't know if it's by design or not. I don't think it was by design. But once they gave him the starting job, said, this is your job, and he quit. He ain't got to look over his shoulder. He started getting better and better. And you know how it goes, Kyle. The more you win, the better you get, the more confidence, man. Confidence is everything, especially for a quarterback. So, but that's just a reminder of how we got here. From this point, he's a good quarterback. He's capable. He's a team leader. And P.S., he can run the dang ball too. So that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at now with Milroe, just my opinion.
Yeah, thanks for the call on Milroe, and I completely agree. I mean, the transformation has been great to see, and I think we've seen Tommy Rees get more comfortable as well, and I think that is also a key component. And as those two mesh well, and like I said, if they catch up to that defense, and even where they're at right now, if they continue just to play at this level, nobody else in college football is going to beat this team. So, I know that, right now it's like a plus 800 for Alabama to win the championship. Of course, they have to win these next couple games. But I think, honestly, with what I saw against LSU, I'm in. I mean, this team is going to be too difficult to beat for anybody in college football because of number 4. Right there, plain and simple. And if you think that this team is good or finding their rhythm, just wait till next year. Saban, this has been a great plan by Saban. Right. And then after him, you have Julian Saint. So the quarterbacks are in line. You got all those wide receivers, the dynamic pieces at running back. I love the mindset. I'm sure you guys saw on the YouTube shorts about Jam Miller talking about waiting his time behind Jason Roydell and being he was like, when my time is called, I'll be ready. He's a great running back. I love the mentality of him, the toughness of him. These running backs are tough. Big north and south type running backs. Anything else, Mike, before we move on to my next caller?
No, I totally agree about the running backs. Bama's running game is the heart of the team, in my opinion. But real quick, I think we're going to beat Kentucky, man. I feel good about the Kentucky game. I don't want to rat poison them or nothing. Mm-hmm. But just last week, Kentucky put up 260 yards against Mississippi State. Kentucky's offense put up 260 yards. They're not going to be able to. They got to do better than that. They're going to plan to beat Alabama. But like I say, I think we're going to beat Kentucky. Probably the Iron Bowl is probably going to be a tougher game. Kentucky, I think. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. But that's all I've got, Kyle. Keep up the good work, man. You take care.
All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks, Mike, for the call. I appreciate it. I think all these games are going to be challenging. I mean, look, the rat poison, of course, is going to fall in the game against Chattanooga, but the 2 road games to end of the season. I mean, that is even on top of the difficult schedule for Alabama going into a tough environment against Kentucky and against Auburn. You're playing your rival at a pivotal time. That game is going to be ultra challenging for Alabama. I don't care what Auburn's record is. We talk about it all the time. The coach is Hugh Freeze. He knows there's a recipe that he's going to go back into from when he was at Ole Miss, and he's going to try to put that together in some aspect. He's beat Saban twice, So I know things are going well. It's going to be challenging regardless. So this schedule for Alabama has been tough. I think if you look it up, Alabama has one of the top 5 hardest schedules in the country. That's why I keep harping on schedule strength. This team is battle tested. The defense has went against, some incredible offensive quarterbacks this year. I mean, it's been great to see kind of the emergence of this. I love Coach Saban talking about Kevin Steele. Said, look, he's pretty mild-mannered, but when he yells, people listen. I'm like, I bet. We go back to the phone lines with the 334. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle?
What's up, man? Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from, man?
Ladarius, Montgomery, Alabama.
What's up, Ladarius? I appreciate you calling in from Montgomery, man. Welcome to the show. Where you want to take it, man?
You probably, I know you get a lot of calls. I think right before the Texas game. And we was talking about basically the progression of Alabama defensive side and offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what I pointed, because you were like, what team you think was gonna give us the most problem throughout the way? You were like Tennessee, LSU. We were talking about mainly those 2 teams, and I told you Tennessee will be a better matchup for Alabama because they play both sides of the ball, which we seen happen until the second half. And then I told you LSU, I said Alabama's strength right now, well, at that time was our defensive side, and their strength was their offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically just come down to the defense getting enough stops so our offense could take advantage of what they was bad at, which happened. And I really do think Alabama on their way. I think Alabama on their way. And we talked about Alabama changing up their offensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I said Alabama need to go back to how they were using Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And LSU game, it shows why that worked for Jalen Hurts, and they got us to a national championship game. If it went for that pick play, we would have walked out that thing with a championship.
Mm-hmm. It's been I just, the thing that I like is this last game against LSU is I think that what you're going to see going forward in the games where you just absolutely need somebody to take over, they're just going to tell Jalen Milroe, look, take over. Just go out and just do it. And I think they've been building it up all season long to build a complete offense. Establish a running game, let the offensive line develop. It's taken them a long time. It is what it is. Wide receivers are going to get there. They've been rising up. We're starting to see an emergence of Kendrick Law. I mean, they've been using Kendrick Law how, we're hoping they would. They even put him in the backfield. Point is, they're getting him on the field, right? Get your playmakers on the field, get them the football. And I think, when it all boils down to it, they know that Jalen Milroe can win them football games. 1,000,000%. And that's why I don't think Alabama loses another game this year. 100%. Seriously.
I don't think they'll lose. I don't think they'll lose another game this year either. And if you notice, about our championships, the championship seasons that we had at Alabama, we always had that like star player that just come through in the clutch. Mm-hmm. Either it was the quarterback or it was the wide receiver, running back. Alabama's is our quarterback this year using his legs. Mm-hmm. That rate does separate us from a lot of teams, because a lot of teams starting to gang up on his deep balls. Mm-hmm. So that leaves and then you gain up on his deep balls. You leaving man on man coverage. So take off.
Yep. And you bring up a great point, because
take off every time.
There was and he did throw a ball into double coverage against LSU. I think we all remember that. It was towards the end zone.
To let them know I'll try y'all.
Yeah.
Let them know I'll try y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was the safety the safety was floating over the top, and nobody can get to it. And then he, but I get what you're saying is, like, if you try to, stop the deep ball, floating your safeties back or whatever you're going to do, I mean, you're going to leave, open spaces, open lanes for Jalen Milroe to run. It's like, I mean,
man to man. And then you got that fast. You got some fast wide receivers out there, man, and you got them playing man to man. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, when teams gang up like that, he gonna have open lanes every time. And we got some big linemen where they ain't got that pressure on them no more, because they dropping back, playing man to man, across the coverage. Y'all guard that up there. Jalen Milroe, he don't take that all that long time no more, and he gonna just take off. Mm-hmm. I wonder how many sacks they had in these last 3 big games. Was it 3 each game or 2 each game?
I could do that. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I can bring that up to you.
That right there tell us. That right there, that's a big key of telling us the progression he done made. Because we had like 33 before we went into Tennessee game, I want to say.
Yeah, let me find those stats. I'll tell you in 1 second. Anything else you want to hit on while I look for those stats real quick?
Caleb Downs. I said this before. Yeah, he gonna be a great. And is it? I forgot what the award for the safeties, man. But he should be.
I think it's the
first team. Yeah. He should be first team All-America all around. As a rookie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, the things that Caleb Downs has done this year has been remarkable. I mean, when you look to the fact, overall that he's leading this team in tackles, and I know people get bent out of shape sometimes if you're, safety is leading your team in tackles, but I mean that's the case. I mean,
yeah, but
look, He has 76 tackles this season. The next guy in line is 52, which is Deontay Lawson. He has 2 interceptions, 2 timely interceptions, pass breakup. I mean,
Yes,
and he's graded out really well in Pro Football Focus. By the way, I got those stats for you. He was sacked. Here are the stats on the right. So it shows you Jalen Milroe. He's been sacked 32 times this season. He was sacked in these last 3 games. Just take it for the last 3 games. Arkansas 5 times, Tennessee 4 times, and against LSU sacked twice. So still crazy. I mean, I think Georgia's quarterback has only been sacked like 7 times or something like that. But we've all, kind of we know. I know, but we know the story of this team. It's like, sometimes the left tackle had to get going, and sometimes some of those were on Jalen Milroe. If we went back and watched film, I'm sure there's at least 7 or 8, 9 sacks that are just on Jalen from not getting rid of the ball, just like running into a D end or a linebacker or whatever. But those are the stats. Anything else before I move on?
Oh no, you good, Kyle.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. All right, fam. If I didn't get to you today, I will get to you guys tomorrow, Friday, 9 a.m. You can join the show. I appreciate you guys, liking, subscribing, being a fan funder. You can hit the join button to become a fan funder of this YouTube channel. Just go up to the top on desktop and hit the join button. Thank you very much to Claire for the super chat today. I appreciate you guys. You guys can find me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Look for more YouTube shorts as well. And then also check out some of the merch that you got inside the comment box as well. And then what else did I want to hit on? Oh, stay tuned later on today. I'm going to work on it right now for a video that basically gives you a resume of all the committee members and it kind of shows you where things stand and who's in the room that are choosing, the teams to make the college football playoffs. Thank goodness this is the last year of this, because you're not going to be happy with what you see. But I have put in a lot of detail and research to that video, so check it out. It should be dropping maybe like at 2 p.m. or something like that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Hit me up. I got a special guest lined up for tomorrow on Friday morning, and we'll be talking Alabama Crimson Tide football with you guys as we get you guys ready for Kentucky. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. One more time, I appreciate you guys joining. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.